Ghana has just gone to the polls, and it's very similar to what happened in the United States of America. A leader has been selected who was previously president, was voted out, and has now been re-elected. And of course, I am referring to His Excellency, who used to be the former president, John Dramani Mahama, who is the incoming president of Ghana. Now, what does this mean for you who is looking at building a house in Ghana, or moving from the diaspora to come and relocate to Ghana, or somebody who is not African at all but wants to move to Ghana? What is the impact going to be on the dollar rate, the exchange rate, and all that? What is the impact going to be on houses and all that? In this video, we are going to have a very detailed discussion for the next 30 minutes on the implication of having the next president as John Dramani Mahama. And I'm going to be taking it from a lot of different perspectives. We are going to look at what the exchange rate currently is, what it was previously when he was president, and whether you should wait or not, especially when it comes to building. Because most of you people who watch are in the diaspora, earning dollars, you are earning pounds, you are earning euros, and for the past few years, you guys have been benefiting a lot too when it comes to the dollar CD rate, because today $1 is about 14.8 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, at a point in time, it went to about 17, and so even if you had just like $100, it was a lot of money. That was close to 18,000 cedis at a point. 1,800 cedis at a point in time this same year. And so when you send even $100, it's able to do a lot for you. Now the political climate is changing. First of all, one of the major impacts that Mahama government is going to have on Ghana is infrastructure development. This is going to lead to increased demand for building materials, because if history is anything to go by, Mahama in his first term as president did a lot of infrastructure projects, including what you are currently seeing on your shots, which is the ultra-modern, very beautiful, state-of-the-art University of Ghana Medical Center. You think this is a 3D rendering or something, but no, this is what the structure actually looks like today. And this is not the only project that His Excellency put when he was president. He did a lot of infrastructure projects, roads and all these things, which we are going to look at in detail. But I'm just letting you know that if what he did in his first term is anything to go by, then it means that we are going to see a lot of infrastructure projects. And now, because we are going to be seeing a lot of that, government is going to need more materials than the ordinary individual who is building a 1-bedroom house, 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, because you cannot compete on the same scale with this facility, not at all, right? Can you imagine the quantity of materials, cement, iron rods, chippings which went into this construction versus even if you are putting up a 5-bedroom house, you are not going to get anywhere close. And this is like his last term in office, right? So he has a lot to live up to. He has a lot of impressing to do. If he is going to leave a legacy for Ghanaians to consider to even re-elect the NDC party. And so there's a lot of things which are at play here, and I've carefully studied it. Now what I want us to even start with is the exchange rate and the impact of the exchange rate for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now what I want you to look at is what the exchange rate has looked like for the past few years. Now in 2016, right, that was when John Dramani Mahama was voted out. The dollar rate when he was leaving in December 2016 was about 4.14. But if you go through 2016 carefully, you notice that the dollar rate actually went very high in certain periods, even exceeding 4.26, etc., 4.36, all the way in 2015. right? And this is very typical of most governments. When they are about to leave power, what they tend to do is that they want to look good, right? So they want to say, when I was leaving, it wasn't almost 5 that it was in the previous year. It was 4.14. And so today, when the two political parties are arguing, NDC says in our time the dollar it moved from 1 to 4. In your time, it has moved from 4 to 16 or 4 to 17. And that is the reason why we also see that towards the elections, right, you see the sharp decline in the dollar rate. So at the peak of the dollar rate in Ghana, we moved to about 17.8 in October, November, right? And then now it is sitting at 14.87. The reason why it is sitting at 14.87 is because this current government, which is exiting, right, doesn't want it to be said that they left government with the dollar rate at 17. So whatever they will do to bring the dollar rate down, that is exactly what they are doing to ensure that they can come back next 4 years and say, when we're leaving, it was from 4 to 14, and that's like less than the 4 times that the NDC did. Now this is very, very important because pay close attention here. The president, John Dramani Mahama, the incoming president, is also going to do whatever he can to make sure that the dollar rate to the cedi is not as bad as he came to meet it. And so whatever economic reforms he's going to do, whatever he's going to do it. For you in the diaspora, this is going to impact you significantly because let's assume that the dollar rate for the next 4 years doesn't increase by 4 times, right? If it increases by 4 times, we are doomed in this country. It's good for you when it gets to 20 because $100 then is equal to 2,000 cedis, and that can buy you about 20 bags of cement. But picture this for a moment. If the $100 is now 1,000 cedis, that is probably going to buy you 10 bags of cement. And so there are a lot of things to consider. I wish I could say that if the dollar dropped to 10, people would reduce the price of land and buildings that they are selling. But in Ghana, it doesn't happen that way. They will tell you that when they were building the house, the dollar was 17, and so they can't sell it anything less than what it is today. You understand? And so Ghana has a very interesting situation. Now, comment where you are watching from, really, really important. Comment your thoughts on the elections in Ghana, and then comment what you think is going to be the impact of a John Dramani Mahama, presidency for the next 4 years. Really, really important. Comment where you're watching from. Now, let's continue. So that's the first thing, the lot of infrastructure developments that's going to happen. So we spoke about just one of them, the UGMC. The next one is in his previous, government, he did airports and a whole seaport. Now, the reason why I'm looking at history to define the future is that we usually learn from history. The Bible says that what has been is that which will be. There's nothing new under the sun. And so if somebody has come previously and shown you the way he wants to work, you can take some cues from it. And so we are going to get a lot of infrastructure developments. Now, airports are going to be very significant. The reason why I'm saying that is because today we have the Kumasi airport. Very soon it will be able to take direct flights from other countries to Kumasi. And if you've been following this channel for a while, I have been stressing on the fact that having the Kumasi airport means that people don't need to come to Accra again. And so demand for land in Kumasi is going to increase. Price of land in Kumasi is going to increase, right? And just imagine if this new government decides to have another international airport somewhere. Already, there have been plans and areas earmarked for airports, like Chopoli Pram Pram. And this is going to be big, really, really big. It means that if you are purchasing land in Pram Pram, and the airport is constructed anywhere close to it, even a 10-kilometer radius, your land is seriously going to appreciate in price. And so you need to factor in all these things, right? There are places like Botiman, right? Around 2011, 2012, when the Botiman last went constructed, which is what you are seeing on the screen, right? At that time, the place was very bushy. So if you look at you can see that the place is very, very bushy beyond the constructed areas, right? Now, what that means is that when the road was constructed, the value of the place just increased. It skyrocketed. Previously, nobody considered that. And so, whenever there's a lot of infrastructure projects, in fact, there's a whole stadium built around the Botiman area, there's a 4-lane road that has been constructed. And then all of a sudden, these affordable housing properties that were put up have become very expensive. And speaking of expensive stuff, there's another affordable housing project that was started by the NDC government, which was never completed. I foresee that in this new administration, the president and his team are going to look at what they can do in terms of affordable housing. Now, the one I'm referring to is the Saglemi housing project, right? Now, Saglemi it's like on the outskirts of Accra. Let me just define it as the outskirts of Accra. And I'm going to be spending a lot of time talking about this project, right? Because this is going to truly be like a model, a showcase of what is going to happen in the next 4 years. This current president has only 4 years. He cannot be in power for 8 years like the previous administrations. And so he will need to move with a lot of speed. And you need to consider certain factors carefully. One, where to buy your land. Two, should you start building now, or should you keep your cash for when affordable houses come up and then you purchase them, right? I'm going to advise that whatever you do, make sure to have a lot of money somewhere. Like, get money. Get money. Things are about to change in Ghana because this president has a short time and he needs to impress. We'll get to Saglemi, but the next thing that the NDC government did in previous times was investment into energy, right? And when I talk about energy, we had electricity crisis, serious electricity crisis in Ghana, to the point where there was a phenomenon that people were calling doomsaw. And this doomsaw was like a load shedding schedule. People who are living outside Ghana will not be able to understand what I'm talking about. But let me just still talk about it, right? People like factories and things could not run during the doomsaw era just because of the very fact that electricity supply was not constant. So lots of businesses had issues. In the last few years of the John Dramani Mahama presidency, he was able to invest heavily in power generation. If history is anything to go by, you would probably need to invest in solar, right? You would want to have some investment in solar, because when we are doing some of these infrastructure projects and all these new hospitals, schools, airports, they are definitely going to require a lot more energy consumption. So assuming he does a lot of factories and stuff like that, more energy consumption than what can currently be supplied. I'm not wishing him bad, but I'm just saying, let us learn from the mistakes of the past. When you get some money, please do ensure to invest in solar. I'll say it again. When you get some money, do ensure to invest in solar. Like, regardless of the government that is going to come in power, make sure you invest in some solar panels, inverters, batteries. It is going to become big and booming in the next 4 years. This is free consultation. Let's move on. Now, the previous government, which is the coming government, invested heavily in education, right? And they invested in progressive free senior high schools. What that means again is if they are seeking to continue that legacy of educational infrastructure, obviously there's going to be more educational institutions being set up. Again, it is going to cause increased demand for land because definitely they need to build their schools on land. And when schools come up, the places around the schools, you want to put up hostels, you want to put up pharmacies, you want to put up police stations, you want to put up supermarkets, etc. Land is going to be in high demand and is going to be very, very expensive. So if you've been sitting on the fence wanting to come to Ghana and buy land, maybe you should start now before maybe end of 2025 when lands will be earmarked for governmental projects. I repeat, once we are going to be having a lot of infrastructural development, hospitals, airports, schools, and the likes, there's the limited land that we already have is what is going to be used for those things. And so start buying now, else demand in those areas where the hospitals are going to be, the airports are going to be, the ultra-modern schools are going to be, and it's going to be super expensive. Pram areas, I've said it again, is going to be hot cake. Places in Kumasi like Ejiso are going to be hot cake. Places in Sunyani are going to be hot cake. Please, 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 please again, make sure to invest in lands. If you get money, don't buy one plot. Buy 2 plots, 4 plots, 10 plots, 10 acres, 100 acres, please, because you are definitely not going to regret it. All right, now let's continue. I'll definitely come back to this Saglemi issue. So we've spoken about the impact this new government is going to have. We started talking about the infrastructural developments we are going to experience. Now let's talk about roads, because one thing that the NDC government under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was very known for was construction of roads. The circle interchange constructed by him. Huge kilometers of roads. At that time, Ghanaians, we said, Charlie, it's not the roads we eat, it's always the economy. I went to Nigeria recently, and they are constructing 700 kilometers plus of concrete roads. If he's watching what his colleagues in other countries are doing, 700 plus kilometers of concrete roads, not asphalt, not coal tar. He will probably also want to construct concrete roads. And again, it's going to cause increased demand for cement, for iron rods, for chippings, and all these things. So if you have a building project, please start now. Don't wait for prices of building materials to reduce. Start now, because the demand there is going to be there like that. Now, the fact that roads are going to be constructed also tells me that you don't necessarily need to buy expensive land in the middle of town, right? Especially if we get our act right and we get the railway system sorted out. A good thing is the NPP government has started something. If this new government coming does not come and stop whatever the NPP government has started, but continues, Ghana is going to be amazing in the next 4 years. However, the challenge traditionally is that one party begins something and another party, when they come, they pretend like that project doesn't exist and they want to start all afresh, right? So please make sure that you are buying lands where, be following the news articles. Be always following the news. And of course, Africa Building Hub, we are going to be updating you on where significant projects are going to be done, so that before the land gets expensive, you can make an informed decision and buy plots of land. If you are finding value in this video, I want you to put some fire emojis, some likes, some happiness, some love emojis, and again, comment where you are watching from, and comment that you are finding value in the video, whether you are watching the live or you are watching the replay. Now let's move to the next point. We have just 10 minutes to wrap up. So the next point is the dollar rate. This government was voted out purely based on the economy, the dollar cedi rate. If you notice, from the year 2020, it's just been high, skyrocketing. And of course, there are factors that are impacting all those things, but nobody cares at the end of the day. At the end of the day, all that we care about is that we are able to get our bread and butter. We can afford to pay school fees. You understand? And a lot of people complain significantly about that. I have felt the impact. Like, I sell solar cameras. At the start of this year, the dollar rate was about 13 cedis. At a point this year, the dollar reached almost 18 cedis. And when you purchase the materials and it comes to Ghana and you are going to customs to clear it, they are charging you literally the dollar equivalent of whatever you purchased. So if I purchase this for $100, right? When it comes and I go to customs to clear it, they'll go online and go and check for the price. So maybe this is a PlayStation 5 headset and it's $100. Then they'll compute $100 equivalent to 1,770. And so if you, like, literally you are paying the same amount as you bought it. And it's very frustrating. And so this new government has a lot of work to do to ensure that this guy and this guy are almost at par. Now they look alike, but this is the dollar and below is the cedi. And the more he can work to bridge that gap, the better his party will get chances of retaining power for another 4 years. But if he's not able to fix this dollar guy here, it's going to be very difficult for His Excellency. And I really wish him well, right? Because this has been the main issue. I could use, like, let's say, let's even use phones, right? Buying an iPhone those days, this is an iPhone 14. iPhones have always sold for about $1,000 or $1,100. But in the past 3 to 4 years, the price of an iPhone, brand new, right, has moved from about 5,000 cedis at launch to currently selling, some people even sell it for about 30,000 cedis, just because of the dollar rate. When you also import, the taxes you pay, everything is in dollars. You know, so it has made the business climate very difficult, and the new government has a lot of work to do. And apart from that, the current MPP government, they try their best to ensure that, you know, inflation comes down a bit, especially when it comes to building materials like cement and the rest. I remember the minister, K.T. Hammond, having issues with cement producer companies in Ghana and telling them that they should reduce the price of cement. But the people come back and fight him and say, no, our inputs, we import them and we are using the almighty dollar and it's too expensive, so we cannot reduce it. And if this government is going to help the people of Ghana, we need to find a way to ensure that cement is affordable, to ensure that iron rods are affordable, to ensure that roofing sheets are affordable, to ensure that if I'm importing my building materials from China, whether it is tiles, it is the finishing works, the lights, the fans, the TVs, etc., they are affordable. Now, if you want to, you know, import your materials from China and save at least 20 to 30%, you can send us an email. We'll support you to ship your items. We'll guide you, provide you all the consultancy. If you want any kind of consultancy as well, our email address is on the screen. Now let me pause and read some of the comments in the chat and then we continue. Kevin says, I'm buying a land and building before 2028. Good stuff, good stuff. Simaya says, I'm watching from California. Right, amazing. Nana Akwesi says, I'm watching from Abeka and Accra. Bro, great stuff. Every man is your teacher says, I'm watching from London, which is fantastic. Edward Edu says, why prices too high despite dollar to cedis is falling? Now the thing is, the fact that the dollar to CD is falling doesn't necessarily mean it reflects on the situation on the ground. We are seeing the price falling on Google and all these online platforms. But what is happening is that on the ground, the people who have the dollar to change it for you, they are still selling it at very high prices, right? And that is what it is in this country. And people will tell you that when they went to buy their cement, it was 17.7 cedis. And so if they sell it at 14 cedis, they are going to make a loss because they know. I did a full video on this topic, right, some months back, about why you need to purchase all your building materials now before March 2025. Now, for those who missed that video, let me just recap a little bit. I've made you understand that every election year, the government would want to reduce the dollar CD rate so that they will look favorable. And so we jumped from almost 18 to currently 14.87. It is not going to end there. Now, what happens is after the election, when all the multinational companies, the Deloitte, the KPMGs, the MTNs, etc., they declare their profit and loss position, right, their financial statements for the year. These multinational companies in March, first quarter of 2025, are going to move money out of the country, the profits and stuff, to their HQs, their headquarters all over the world. Now, when they are moving it, they are not moving it in cities. They are going to be moving it in dollars. And so we are going to have net reduction in dollars, right? And when something is scarce, the value increases. When something is in abundance, the value is reduced. So that's basic economics. Sand is very abundant, and so it is cheaper than gold, which is scarce. Basic economics. And so from March, April 2025, we are going to see some of the highest exchange rates ever. And traditionally, that is what it has been. So if we look at history, let's just go through history a bit. So this is 2016, an election year, right? We moved from 3.91, and also in election years, there's little to no productivity, okay? And we even reached 4.05, 4.2, 4.28, 4.3, etc., right? Now, at the end of the election period, it reduced to 4.20 and even 4.14. So the government would say, oh, when we're leaving power, it was 4.14. Now, when we move into 2017, after the new government came, the real exchange rate will come up, right? Because the other one was artificial, it was compressed. And so you notice in March, it was 4.31. In February, it was 4.31. In March, like I say, when they declared their profits position, it jumped to 4.61, etc. And from there, we were never the same. It just kept moving. And every year, that's going to be the pattern. So let's say in the year 2020, which was another election year, we started at 5.46. And by December 2020, right, we're at 5.84. Good. Now, January, we started flying again. And after March, we had the craziness happening. 5.93, 6.04, etc. Now let's even move to like 2023. So we started 2023, 12.34. Again, we'll try to stabilize it, but after March, we begin to fly again. And that's what is happening. In 2024, similar story. So we ended December 2023, 12.02. We started 2024, 12.97. After March, we started flying. And we are where we are. So history has shown us a lot. there is a lot that we can learn from history. Let's not take it for granted. If you have anything to do, do it now. You want to buy land, buy it now. You want to buy a house, buy it now. You want to finish your building project, finish it now. Let me read some of your comments and then let's get ready to wrap up. Gertrude says, I'm watching from Austria. Wow, how's Austria? Every man, as your teacher says, it doesn't matter if the dollar rate goes up or down, prices of building materials will increase. And it's very sad, but that is the reality we have in Ghana. And Bilson says, I'm watching from Italy. All right, so let's hurry and then wrap this video up. Let's talk about the Saglemi housing project. Okay, the Saglemi housing project was started by the previous NDC government in about the year 2012. Now, this was supposed to be 5,000 units for people to reside in, 5,000 units to help with, accommodation issues that we have in Accra. Because to be honest, Accra is very, very overpopulated. But things didn't go as expected. And it's very terrible, very, very terrible. The reason why it's so terrible is because this was a loan that we went for, valued at about $200 million. $200 million. Now, before I even continue, let us like, share this video. Can we get to at least 100 likes? If you're enjoying this video, please like. Let's get to 100 likes. We Are Toys says, bro, I love your videos. We Are Toys, love you too. I really appreciate that. $200 million for Saglemi housing project. And can you imagine that as of today, it is just about 1,506 or something of those units which have been started. It's not like have been completed, have been started. If you are looking for the number that's been completed, it's just about 668 or something that was completed. And so we haven't even developed half of the 5,000 units, and we've spent more than half of the money. Oh, this country. And it became a very political issue. Some people are even facing potential prison and jail time because of this unit. Like, people have been prosecuted, there's a court case ongoing and all that. Directors, former ministers, like, oh, so many things. Very terrible. This 5,000 units could accommodate at least 500,000 families. But here we are. We don't have it. It's turned to bushes, I tell you. And look at it. And we are hearing that the state of the houses, some of them uncompleted, some of them are just a foundation level, is not even habitable. We cannot live in it. But like I'm saying, the new government would probably want to finish what they started. The good thing is currently it's been given to the private sector to develop, and the contract was awarded sometime this year to a private company. Now, what they are going to do is estimate the total cost of completion, which they've done, and they say it sits at about another $100 million to complete it, do drainage, electricity, water, roads, and make it livable. Now, guess what? They are projecting to sell one unit. So it starts from like 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedroom apartments. One, they are projecting to sell for $40,000. And the question I ask myself is, how then is this affordable? Because $40,000, even if it is 15 cedis to the dollar, that's what somebody should calculate and tell me, about 600,000 Ghana cedis. I don't know how many of us can afford 600,000 Ghana cedis just like that, but you comment and let me know. You guys in the diaspora, their $40,000 might not be a lot of money to you. But to me, and a lot of people, 600,000 Ghana cedis for a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom apartment, we cannot. We can't. At all. So It's going to be very, very interesting. And the new president has a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. However, that is why I keep stressing the fact that you need to have a lot of liquid cash on you, because if some of these affordable housing projects are done, when they are completed, like the Botiman place right now, I hear today the rent for like a 1 bedroom apartment in Botiman is like 1,500 to 2,000 cedis. 1 bedroom. Crazy. This is rent. So have a lot of liquid cash. You could buy these units if they are completed, right, and rent it out. The area currently, there's a lot of traffic because you need to go to the community 25 Pram Road. And that side has a lot of traffic because of some roundabouts which were started and have not been completed. But assuming this current government gets its act right, do railway lines, do airports, do good roads, which they've shown in the past that they can do, then the city is really going to open up. The urban areas are going to open up. And so people would move to those far away places that nobody wants today. Have money, buy it as an investment. You can use yours for Airbnb, you can sell it, you can rent it, right? So let me know your thoughts about all the things that I've said. Comment below. Let me know whether you're watching the replay or you're watching the live. Comment below and let me know. Now, for me to know that those who are watching the replay watch to the end, the comments you are supposed to leave that lets me know that you watch to the end is that this $100 today cannot even buy 20 bags of cement. I'm grateful to you for sticking with me for 37 minutes, close to 40 minutes. I wish you a very blessed week. We do this every Sunday evening. So if you like this kind of content, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the episode. If you want to advertise your business, please get in touch with us. Our email is on the screen. Now I have some good news for people. I can show you how you can save about $100. How? Doormaster is giving up to 30% discount on security doors. And so if you are doing your building project, you have completed, you want security doors, call their numbers on the screen and tell them you are coming from Africa Building Hub, and they are going to give you an amazing deal for security doors. Now, Alpha Merge is also our partner when it comes to everything metal and glass. So if you want a balustrade, you want burglar proofs, you want gates, you want windows, you want even skylight so that you'll be seeing the stars at night, anything glass or metal, alucobond cladding, anything, contact their numbers on the screen. Tell them you saw them on Africa Building Hub. You have come, they should give you the good deal that they can give to you. And with this, I want to wish you a very blessed week. I'll see you. God